Basically, right now I'm starting new tutorials regarding the REST client or the REST template. Like how can we consume the API in the Spring Boot application? Okay, now like you know that like the Spring Boot 3.2 is already there, so it's provide a very good client which is REST client. Okay, and the second one is a REST template. If you are working with a like Spring Boot application and you are working with a web framework, not a reactive framework like Webflux, like I'm talking about the web application. Okay, a web-based framework. So they provided two-way, the blocking clients. We have two blocking clients. One is the REST client and second one is the REST template client. Okay, so first of all, like I will explain you like what is the API and how can we call that API, okay, using this diagram. So see, this is the first star. Okay, this is the API server or REST server, REST service. Okay, maybe the REST service, basically it's a REST type of service, and it will give the response in the JSON format. Okay, now so your API services, maybe the third party is creating the API service in any language like Java, Python, PHP, or .NET, whatever they created is which language they are using. But ultimately we need to consume that consume that APIs. Okay, so they created that API, they provide us the documentation of the API, like what is request and what is response. Then I will show you, the next how they provide the documentation. Okay, so this is a web server. Okay, you can say that like they are deployed that, then they provide you the endpoints. So second thing is, this is the second star, which is this is our the client, the REST client. In the REST client, so this is our Spring Boot application, so we are using here the REST client. Now this in tutorials, the next tutorials we can use the REST template. Okay, so right now we can consume the API using the REST client. Okay, so this is just a simple diagram. How can we request and response? Like first you can request your, okay, using that method like get post put or delete, or just second one is your response. Okay, this is a simple thing. Now see, I already, so this is my repository, so I will share the path of the repository, and just know like, and you can choose that branch, REST client -1. Okay, so basically you can the pull that code, you can pull that code and run this code in your local environment. The code will be run on your like 9090 port. So this is the documentation. Whenever you are like consuming the any API, the third party will provide you the documentation. Okay, like this is a get all API, the type of this is a get. Okay, so it's not required any request parameter, like it's not required any payload whenever you hit the API, so you don't need to add any payload. Okay, so you will get this type of response. This is the get all response API. The second one is add student, and third one is update student. You can see the request and the response. Okay, so what is the response it will become. So I just created a simple application. Okay, you can pull this code and just run it. Okay, now the second thing is, this is your server. I'm talking about this, the API service. Okay, because we can check the locally in the computer, so that's why I created that. So you can pull that, so it will work like your REST API server. Okay, this is a code. Okay, this is a real-time example. Now let's go ahead to the next. How can we create our like client for consuming this? So what you want to do, like just select the Java. First open that like start.spring.io. Okay, this one. Now first select the Java. We are using Maven, and use the latest one 3.2.4, and just put your group ID, any group ID what you want, artifact ID like REST service call. Okay, and create a jar and choose 21 or 17, whatever you want. Like both of are like comfortable, like you can also choose the 21 also, it doesn't matter. Okay, like we are choosing 21. Just here we just set the web. Okay, so we just add the dependency web, so we don't need to do anything. Also, if you want to add one more dependency, you can add the dev tool. Okay, so but right now I'm not using the dev tool. Okay, but you can also use this. Just click on the generate, so it will generate your project. So this is a way you can generate the project. So I already built the project. Let me explain you. Okay, first, yeah, see, this one is the, so this is your REST client, which I told you, the like the REST client. So this is the project, like using the Java 17 I built the project. I choose the only one dependency, which is web. Okay, so this is just a simple project. You can see it. Let's see. And this is the project. Okay, so this is the simple project. Now the another project one is the service. The main, like you can say, this is a this one is a server where all the APIs are the working. See, this is the project. So whenever you pull the student project, so you will get the project like that. Now you can run the project. And right now I'm using the IntelliJ. You can use any IDE like Eclipse and whatever you want. Let's say I execute that code. I'm using H2 database, so it's automatically like create a table and add the some values. And the most important thing is working on 9090 port. Okay, you can change it according to you if you want. Go to the application.properties. Okay, so your service is running. Let's go to the, let's check the API is working fine or not. So this is the API, our localhost 9090 API v1 get all the student. You can verify from here also if you want to cross check. Here, see, this is a URL. Okay, so let's see, execute the code. Now see, this is the response. So we set up all the server and the client. Now we will start the code in the next tutorial. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe.